As I'm recently thinking a lot about holiday makeup looks and what they should look like, what I do prefer, and all types of holiday makeup look idea. So I pulled a couple of current eyeshadow palettes that are mainly new releases that I pretty much enjoy, and these are all the palettes I already talked about, made a review about them, and either way mentioned them in all kinds of different situations. But again, today I wanted to pull my favorite ones and just kind of give you a little bit more in depth when it comes to these eyeshadow palettes. So this is going to be randomly, I'm not ranking them because it's not a ranking video. But I would love to start by let's start by eyeshadow palette I actually used for today's look. Tom Ford Soleil Neige eyeshadow palette has been one of amazing palettes. This is amazing holiday release, and this is new release from Tom Ford. Of course, I know it's really expensive, but this palette you can bring it in and combine as itself as well as within so many different looks. Like I've done today, I did use 3 of these eyeshadows, all of them except this one right here, and I really enjoy the result. I really love the formula, and I really do believe that this one is worth every single cent that you use. So even though we are talking about 4 eyeshadows, I'm really getting a lot of use out of it, and I don't know how long this one is going to last me. I'm not even sure if this is going to, if I'm going to hit a pan within the next year. Probably at least with the lighter one, because that shade is so gorgeous, and it suits my skin tone so beautifully whenever I need to lighten up anything, and that it's pretty much every time I'm creating looks. So I'm thinking that some of these shades will be gone within 1 year of use. Loving it. Cannot recommend this one enough how good it is. Here I have 2 eyeshadow palettes. These are 5-pan eyeshadow palettes from the Pat McGrath Bijou collection, and these are 2 of my favorites and 2 favorite eyeshadow palettes from the whole collection. And as you maybe know, I did purchase the whole collection, and in general I wasn't super happy with the mothership palettes, with the quality or anything. I'll say, unfortunately, for the most part, that whole collection was kind of a disappointment for me, for the various reasons. Again, I'm not going to say that the quality was bad, but the quality, certainly it's not on a level, as we all can agree if you try her motherships, that in general that is her best formula. But these eyeshadows from her Bijou collection, these are made in Italy, and usually her Italian formula is way better than her USA formula, I'll say. Here I have Bronze Ecstasy and Lunar Nightshade. The look that I created with this palette was so stunning in my opinion. I loved it so much, and this is something that I can see using these tones during holiday. Also, this one, I think a lot of us were pleasantly surprised to see toned down shades from Pat McGrath, because usually she's known, especially lately, to bring all of those rose tone shades. So that, for a change, was super great. I also, yeah, today I am wearing this shade in the middle, which I think it was so gorgeous. But I ended up applying the shade to make it a little bit more cooler than it is. But the shade on itself, it's really gorgeous. And for the price that they are, I'll say that you will get pretty good quality, and also if you are into this color story, get a use out of it. I know we are not having a lot of mattes in general. All 4 of the eyeshadow pans, they were mostly shimmers, so you're not gonna get a lot of mattes in here. So most likely you will have to combine these eyeshadow palettes with something else, but not necessarily. You can still create beautiful look with just every single eyeshadow palette from here. The next eyeshadow palette came as such a pleasantly surprised for this holiday season, and it is Huda Beauty Pretty Grunge palette. I also highly recommend this one. This is something I believe a lot of you will get a lot of use out of it for the not only for the holidays, but in general, considering the color story, and it is divided in 2 different color stories. I wanted to mention that this shade Rebel here, really unique in texture, and as you can see, it is quite chunky, but it is such a spectacular shade to use. I don't know if the camera even can catch this. Beautiful. Like, it is at the same time so metallic-y and shifting, gorgeous shade. Now, I created a couple of looks already with this one, and it is stunning. Again, I love the formula, I love the looks that I created, and I was skeptical, and I said it came as a surprise because of the last Empowered palette. And if you do remember that one, this one was kind of a repeated version of that one, but it's just that the color story in here is, in my opinion, better thought through. And not only that, we have different formulation in here because we had different formulas in the Empowered, where here I think it's much more usable than what we had back then. So once again, highly recommend this one, and I believe you can get a lot of mixing options when it comes to color story. Of course, you can mix this one with your other palettes as well, but the shades, just again looking at this shade, it's so gorgeous. One of the unique shades that I tried so far. Loving it. Now, me personally, when I think about this specific holiday or winter season, I think about Xenon palette. Now, this palette was something that I was waiting for, because even this one, it may seem like it's kind of flat in a color story, or maybe you're thinking like, what are your options with this one? So either you combine this palette with the other, or you create a look just with this one. You can get stunning looks. I love the formula, I love the idea, and this Sadness shade, that is something amazing. I think that this is my favorite shade from this palette. Also the Snowball, where we have like punch of a pink in here, which depending on how you apply it, you can get like really pink compared to everything else in this palette. I love the fact that we have like really light and then really dark eyeshadow. Also, you can get a lot of use out of her mini Xenon palette. So it's 5-pan version of this one, and this palette actually was inspired by the Xenon palette, like the mini palette that she released. And that palette is so good, thought through when it comes to color story as well, because you do have, I would say, everything you need in that palette for the gray makeup look, you know. Even if you're not a fan of the grays, you can combine this in a different ways. And also we have a couple of shades here that are like not gray, but I do have that cool tone, cold base. Once again, when I think about the winter, that is it. Like, that's my color story. That's what I envision to create, and I will create. I think it's going to be like super gray look with the like really intense pigment makeup look for the New Year's Eve. I understand this palette may not be for a lot of you, and that color story, it's not appealing to a lot of you. Like, if you are into grays and if you love cool tones, this is truly cool tone eyeshadow palette with the good Natasha Denona formula, and I'm so happy she released this one. Okay, now I'm having shimmer all over my hand. The next eyeshadow palette is going to be Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is Fall Romance palette. Now, this palette was initially released in the season of fall, but what I do love about this palette, that like some of the shades in here, like for example this magenta or the shimmers or even these greens, I can see wearing them for a glamorous look. Also, I love the quality in here. I'll say that the Amber and Mulberry shade are not something that I was wearing that much, and also this Fireside. So I was leaning more towards the other parts of this color story. And again, like I said, I really do think I can get used for the holidays, and not just for the holidays. Like, you can use this one as well as a good quality palette for different occasions. But when I see this, I do I do see something with what I can create glam with. So I was inspired to mention this palette as a recommending it to you, and also that you can use it for special occasions and also for the holidays. Oh, and also for the price that it comes with this palette, I'll think it is definitely worth it. One palette that is not necessarily the newest release, and that is my dream palette, that I also used 2 of the shades today from this palette, and that will be Nurture and Familia. This palette is so versatile, like I use it so much. But what inspired me to put this as a holiday palette at this time is also that she has like these shades right here. She also has a multi-chrome, and you can incorporate that one really beautifully, obviously, and this kind of brownish shades as well. Like I mentioned, I do wear them on my eyes today, and this in general is such a versatile palette to use, and I'm happy that I can say that I am also can use this palette for a holiday season as well. I can use it on itself, but also I can combine this one within the other palette also. Okay guys, that is going to be everything for today when it comes to this palette I mentioned today, that I highly recommend when it comes to not only for the holidays, like especially for the holidays, but in general. I think they're good quality, and that they are really worth your money. Now a lot of the stuff will of course come down to your preference and what you personally are leaning more towards, you know. But I'm looking forward to use these palettes to create more glam/holiday looks. And guys, I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.